Good morning to everyone. So this is Venkateshwar Rao from GPT Gadwal, and the subject is .NET programming through C Sharp. Subject code is 403C. First of all, let me discuss what is Microsoft .NET framework. Okay, so what is a .NET framework? So the .NET framework is a software development platform developed by Microsoft. Okay, it is a application software that is developed by the Microsoft, and the framework was made to create applications which would run on Windows platforms. Okay, by using .NET we can create form-based applications and web-based applications, and form-based applications are also called as window applications. See, the window applications which works on the window which does not require any internet, whereas the web-based applications, these applications also run on Windows operating system, but they require the internet connection, and they require the servers. Okay, so that is about the .NET framework. So the framework also supports various programming languages such as Visual Basics and C Sharp, and also it supports F Sharp, J Sharp. There are different types of programming languages, and the widely used programming languages are Visual Basics, that is VB, and C Sharp. Okay, so in this lecture we'll learn the .NET framework architecture, and the .NET components, and the .NET framework design principles. So this is the .NET architecture. So the bottom layer is the CLR, Common Language Runtime, and the second one is a library, is also called as framework class library, and languages. These are the different languages: Windows Form and ASP.NET and Adobe.NET. So Windows Forms, as we discussed earlier, which runs on the Windows operating system, whereas this ASP.NET and Adobe.NET are nothing but these are the web-based programming languages. So let me see the components, .NET components. So the architecture of the .NET framework is based on the following key components. Okay, the first one is a CLR, Common Language Runtime. So the CLR, Common Language Infrastructure, or CLI, is a platform on which the .NET programs are executed. So by using the CLR, we can execute the .NET programs. Okay, CLI, which has features. First one is the exception handling. Okay, so exception is nothing but it is an error which occurs when the application is executed. Basically, the error nothing but that is opening the file which is not located in the machine. That is one type of error, and also fetching the data which is not present in the database. So this type of errors are called exceptions. These exceptions can be handled by the CLI. And the second one is the garbage collection. The garbage collection is a process of removing unwanted resources. So the resources again that can be resources can be a database file, or the resources can be a application program which is no longer used. Okay, and the second feature is it works with various programming languages. That is, it supports different languages like Visual Basic, C Sharp, J Sharp, F Sharp, etc. And the developer can develop applications in variety of .NET programming languages. So all these are nothing but key features of CLI. And this is the how the .NET framework will work. So in level 1, we use the different programming languages like Visual Basic, C Sharp, F Sharp, J Sharp, okay, and also JavaScript. Different types of programming languages will be used at level 1, and each and every programming language requires the compiler. So if it is a VB, it requires a VB compiler. If it is a C Sharp, it requires a C Sharp compiler. Okay, and then the code is converted into the native language by using this CLI, Common Language Interpreter. Okay, so if we see the components, languages. The first level of the programming languages itself, the most common one are VB, .NET and C#. So this is the first level, that is the level 1. We use the different programming languages that can be Visual Basics or C#. Okay, and the second level we have the compilers. These are the compilers which will be separate for each programming language. For VB programming, you require the VB.NET compiler. For C#, you require the C# compiler, like that. And the third level we have the common language interpreter. So this is the final layer in .NET, which would be used to run a .NET programming developer in any programming language. So the subsequent compilers will send the program to the CLI layer to run the .NET application. So these are the three levels. So this is the language, and this is the compiler level, and this is the CLI, common language interpreter. So next is a class library. So the .NET framework includes a set of standard class libraries. The class library is a collection of methods and functions that can be used for the core purpose. So this .NET framework includes a set of classes and libraries. These classes are used to design the applications and programs. For example, there is a class library which with method to handle all file level operations. So file level operations, there is a separate type of class libraries will be available, and separate types of methods will be available. And the class libraries are separated by the asterisk symbol. There is a star, nothing but is the asterisk symbol, and these are called as namespaces. System dot, that is a common class libraries or namespaces we use. Languages. The type of applications that can be built on .NET framework is classified broadly into following categories. So by using these .NET framework, we can design the window forms. Nothing but window forms, so this is used to develop forms based applications, or we can call it as the window based applications which will run on the end user machines. Okay, and second type is ASP.NET applications. We also call it as web applications. So ASP.NET application, this is used to develop web based applications, which are made to run any browser. So the web applications will run on the browser like Internet Explorer, Chrome or Firefox, etc. Okay, and the third type is Ado.NET, which deals with the, so this is also it includes a web based and window based, which deals with the databases. The applications which runs with the database with the application. That is Ado.NET. Let me see the principles. .NET framework design principles. The following are the various design principles. The first one is the interoperability. So interoperability, nothing but the application which is designed by the lower level can be executed, can be run on the higher level. So if it is designed by using the 2.0 version, that can be easily run on 3.5 version. And second one is the portability. That is nothing but applications built in .NET framework can be made to work on any window platforms, that can run on any operating systems or that run on any window platforms. And now in recent times, Microsoft is also envisaging to make Microsoft product work on platforms such as iOS and Linux. So it can that is the meaning of portability. It can run on any type of operating system. And the second design principle is the security. .NET framework has a good security mechanism. That is the inbuilt security mechanism helps in both the validation and verification of application. It has a strong security, that is, it has a strong verification and strong validation replication features. And the next principle is the memory management. The common language runtime does all the work for memory management. So the CLR, the common language runtime, which makes the memory management. It is the .NET framework has all capability to see those resources which are not used by the running programs. Okay. So it also look over the garbage collectors. Nothing but the garbage collectors are nothing but the files or the databases which are no longer used can be deal with this CLR. It is called as memory management. And the simplified deployment. Deployment nothing but using the application by the end user. The end user can easily install the client machines, and he can use the applications very simply and also very easily. And if you see the features of .NET framework, the following are the various features of .NET framework. First one is the rich functionalities. It supports the rich functionalities. First feature is the rich functionality. By using these .NET framework, we can design the applications which includes the file operations, file IO operations, and network related applications. All these applications can be designed by using this there is a .NET framework. And the second feature is easy development of web applications. So by using this .NET framework, we can design the dynamic and data-driven web applications. Dynamic applications can be designed. And third feature is the OOPS support. So the .NET mainly supports OOPS, all the OOPS properties, nothing but object-oriented programming properties, nothing but the OOPS environment. It mainly supports the OOPS environment. And the fourth one is the multi-language supports. So the .NET framework supports various types of programming languages like C, there is a C Sharp, Visual Basics. Okay, it supports various multiple languages, and also multi-device supports. So by these .NET framework applications can be run on any type of devices like personal device assistants, PDAs, like mobiles and handheld PCs. Okay, it supports various devices. And next one is the automatic memory management. This is done by the CLI. That is by using the garbage collector, the automatic memory management is done. And the next one is the easy for deployment and configuration. That is nothing but the applications can be installed on the client machines, and those can be easily accessed by the client or end users. So these are the features of .NET framework. And this is the Microsoft Intermediate Language, MSIL. So MSIL stands for Microsoft Intermediate Language. It is also known as Intermediate Language. It is also called as IL, also called it as a Common Intermediate Language. Microsoft Intermediate Language is a CPU independent set of instructions that can be efficiently converted to the native code. Okay. The higher code is converted to the native code, or we can also call it as a machine code. Okay. The source code is converted to the native code by using this MSI, Microsoft Intermediate Language. It converts the source code to the native code. It also called as IL. It also called as CIL. Okay, that is about Microsoft Intermediate Language. The next one is the CLR architecture. CLR Common Language Runtime, CLR. So CLR is an execution engine. CLR is the execution engine of .NET. It provides the environment within which the program runs. By using the CLR, Okay, it is the execution engine of .NET. It supports services like code compilation, memory allocation, garbage collection, thread management. All these are the services that are supported by the CLR. CLR is a platform independent, whereas IL is a platform platform dependent. CLR is a platform dependent, and IL is a platform independent. Okay, IL program that can run on any type of machine, whereas CLR it runs on specific machines only. To convert that source code to native code, we use the intermediate language. That language can run on any OS, any operating system. So when the .NET application is executed, the request is sent to the operating system. The request is sent to the operating system, and then the operating system will create a memory process. The OS will create a memory process, and intermediate language instructions will be loaded on OS. Okay, this is the Sailor architecture. It has 6 blocks: assembly resolver, type checker, form master, assembly loader, debug manager, thread support, intermediate language to native compiler, and exception manager, garbage collector. So this is the architecture of CLR. Let me see each and every block here. The assembly resolver. So this will read the manifest of exe file, that is executable files, and it will identify private assemblies and shared assemblies. The main task of this assembly resolver is it identifies the assemblies, and then it forwards the request to the assembly loader, and then the assembly loader will load assemblies from application folder or GAC, global assembly cache. This will load the assemblies. And the third one is the type checker. So this will verify the data types that are used by the applications, and it provides a type safety. And the next one is the debug manager. So this will activate debugger utility for line by line execution. So the debugger manager executes the programs line by line, and also it allows modification of code without terminating the applications. And the next block is the exception manager. This will handle the exceptions. Okay, this exception manager handles the exceptions that are thrown by the application. If there is no cache block, the application will be terminated. The main task of the exception manager is it manages the exceptions. Exceptions are the errors occur during execution of the program. The next block is the COM master. This will provide a communication with the COM components from .NET applications. COM nothing but communication. The main use of this COM master is it supports the communication to the applications. This provides communication interoperability. It allows the exchange of data between .NET and COM applications. That is communication applications. And the next block is the thread support. Thread support service will manage multiple threads within application process. This provides a multi-threading. Okay, supports a multi-threading, that is, multiple operations can be performed at the same time. The next one is a garbage collector. As we discussed earlier, garbage collector, okay, which manages the memory. That is, it manages the memory. We call it as automatic memory management. The next one is the IL, intermediate language to native compiler. It converts the intermediate language again to the native compiler. For this we use a JIT compiler, call it as JIT just in time, to convert the intermediate language to the native compiler. Okay, source code is converted to the intermediate language, and the intermediate language is converted to the native language. To convert the source code to intermediate language, we use the compilers. For Visual Basics, we use the Visual Basics compiler. For C#, we use the C# compiler. So we get the intermediate language. And the intermediate language is again converted to the native machine by using the JIT compiler, just-in-time compiler. Next, these are the list of .NET languages. There are various .NET languages are available, and currently more than 20 development languages are used to design the .NET applications. And widely used programming languages are Visual C++, Visual Basic, C Sharp, and J Sharp, JScript, .NET. These are the .NET languages. That is widely used .NET languages.